On our broadcast tonight, the pullout. The president makes good on a big campaign promise, setting a date certain for getting most U.S. combat forces out of Iraq. When will it end with all the bad economic news? And there's more today. What are the signs of a turnaround we should be looking for? The Defender, a new job for man's best friend, putting that keen sense of smell to work in a life-saving way. And church service, in every sense of the phrase, making a difference for people who need a break. Also, something you probably never thought the airlines would consider charging for. Nightly News this Friday night begins now.
From NBC News World Headquarters in New York, this is NBC Nightly News with Brian Williams.
Good evening. After a war that has lasted 6 years and did such great damage to the president who launched it, today the new president, Barack Obama, made good on a campaign promise and announced most of the combat forces in Iraq are coming out. They have withstood grueling combat rotations, a near constant battle tempo, and many of those in uniform have had trouble back at home. With the death toll in Iraq at over 4,200 Americans, and while there is another war to fight, today marked the beginning of the end of U.S. combat presence in Iraq. We have two reports tonight, beginning with NBC's Savannah Guthrie at the White House. Savannah, good evening.
Good evening, Brian. The president has set a hard target, at least 90,000 troops out of Iraq by August 2010, but we still don't know when the troops will first start to leave. He's leaving a lot of discretion to his military commanders as to when and how to bring these troops home.
Good morning, Marines.
In a room full of Marines at Camp Lejeune, the president made his announcement.
Let me say this as plainly as I can. By August 31st, 2010, our combat mission in Iraq will end.
The president's plan withdraws troops from Iraq on an 18-month timetable, from 142,000 troops in Iraq now to 35 to 50,000 by August 2010. And all U.S. forces will be out of Iraq by December 31st, 2011, under a security agreement the Bush administration negotiated with the Iraqis. Today, as he announced the beginning of the end of the war in Iraq, the president thanked American troops.
In an age when so many people and institutions have acted irresponsibly, so many of you did the opposite. You volunteered to bear the heaviest burden.
When the combat mission ends, the remaining American troops will have a new mission, advising and equipping Iraqi forces, supporting civilian efforts such as reconstruction, and conducting counterterrorism operations. The military will decide at what pace to withdraw troops. Commanders in Iraq want to keep a strong presence for Iraqi elections this year, so most troops likely won't come home until toward the end of the 18-month time frame. Defense Secretary Robert Gates says the president understood the need for flexibility.
I think that he also saw the wisdom in allowing the commanders in the field to be the best judges within that specific time frame of the pacing of those withdrawals.
Here at Camp Lejeune, the president's orders are already being felt. This base has 8,000 Marines in Iraq right now, and nearly half of the 17,000 new troops the president has ordered to Afghanistan will come from here. Today, Marines said it meant a lot to get the news from the president face-to-face. You shook his hand today. Did you tell him anything?
I told him thanks for coming, because we appreciate him coming to Camp Lejeune.
Well, on the way down to North Carolina today, the president made two calls, one to Prime Minister Nouri al-Maliki of Iraq, the other to former President George W. Bush, what White House aides call a courtesy call, Brian.
Savannah, thanks. This nation is fighting two wars, of course, and the war in Afghanistan is ramping up. More troops, more money, a greater urgency about making up for lost ground. Our chief foreign correspondent, Richard Engel, joins us now from Kabul in Afghanistan. Richard, good evening.
Good evening, Brian. President Obama has already promised to send an additional 17,000 troops to Afghanistan as the war here seems to be entering a new chapter.
Cutting locks, breaking down doors. The 10th Mountain Division is putting down roots. Alpha Company was supposed to be in Iraq. Instead, it is part of the first wave of a U.S. troop surge to Afghanistan. Their mission, to defend a key highway to Kabul and keep the Taliban out of the capital.
SEC Gun 1, send it.
To do that, 3,000 troops are spreading out in a series of small primitive outposts like this abandoned warehouse south of Kabul. No, the first priority, base defense. Machine guns on the roof, cannons in the snow. Staff Sergeant Rick Zamora, building a stove out of scrap metal, has learned to improvise. It's his third tour to Afghanistan.
You know, there's pretty much, you know, whatever you can do to survive out here.
Let's go, same way.
But the soldiers don't have much time to set up camp. Their commanders expect a Taliban offensive in 1 month.
I believe that we're going to see much more activity, enemy activity in the spring. It's going to get worse here before it gets better.
Worse because the Taliban will likely use more rocket attacks and more IEDs on convoys that struggle to move on Afghanistan's muddy roads. These MRAPs were designed to survive bombs in Iraq, not navigate narrow trails in Afghanistan.
The terrain here is a constant challenge, and in some places there's just no way through it. This vehicle is stuck in mud that comes all the way up to my waist. These roads simply weren't built for these heavy American vehicles.
It took this supply convoy 7 hours to travel just 15 miles. Another challenge, working in temperatures that often drop below zero. The medic, Sergeant Joseph Piadat, checks hands and feet for frostbite.
Like I said, you're looking blue.
At night, the troops warm their feet by a fire. For many, it feels like this war, more than 7 years after it began, is starting over.
Most of the U.S. surge troops will be heading to southern Afghanistan, where the Taliban has a stronghold. U.S. commanders expect a long, hard fight. Brian?
Richard Engel in Kabul, Afghanistan, for us tonight. Richard, thanks for that. And now back home to the U.S. economy and more history-making numbers, and fair warning, not the kind of history we want to be making these days. Turns out that in the last 3 months of last year, the economy shrank at a much faster pace than the government originally thought it had. GDP fell a breathtaking 6.2%, worst performance since 1982. On Wall Street, stocks pushed to new lows, with the S&P 500 breaking through the low from last November for the very first time. It was the end of another awful month. The Dow and the S&P both down about 11% in February. One of the big factors driving the markets today, as rumored, the government stepped up its commitment to the banking giant Citigroup, which has been bleeding money. CNBC's Scott Cohn is with us from Citi's headquarters building in New York. Scott, good evening.
Good evening to you, Brian. You can call this nationalization light. The government is stopping short of taking full control of Citigroup. That was an idea that struck fear in the markets and beyond. Instead, the American taxpayer will now own roughly a third of this bank, this huge bank with its huge problems. $28 billion in losses last year and counting. The government is not, though, going to add any taxpayer money to all of this. We are already into it, after all, for about $45 billion. Instead, it will restructure its existing investment that will squeeze some existing shareholders. So what's the point? Well, it will give Citigroup some added stability as it tries to get its house in order, and it will also give the government some added control, although the current management will be allowed to stay. We should stress, Brian, if you bank here, nothing changes. Your accounts are still insured, and you still have to pay your credit card and your mortgage. Brian?
Scott Cohn at the Citibank Tower in Midtown Manhattan tonight. Scott, thanks. And with the economy and the stock market in free fall, the question becomes, when and how will we get our first indication that things are getting better? CNBC's senior economics reporter Steve Leisman has some answers in the final installment, of our week-long series here, Meltdown, Making Sense of It All.
We will rebuild. We will recover, and the United States of America will emerge stronger than before.
We all know the symptoms. Housing prices down more than 27% from their peak in 2006. The Dow down 50% from its high. But before we can recover, economists say, other areas need to show signs of life. For banks, that means lending. Right now, many are too frightened to lend to customers or one another. The government projects 100 banks could go out of business this year. Fed Chairman Ben Bernanke this week explained how he'll know the banks are getting better.
How would we know when things were starting to turn around? When some major banks start going out and raising significant private capital?
In the private sector.
In the private sector.
Another good sign, when banks start giving money back to the government. Yesterday, Iberia Bank of Louisiana announced it's ready to return the $90 million it got from the TARP. But you can't get the banks healthy until you get consumers spending again. After years of loading up on debt, consumers are saving more now than they have in years.
If auto sales were to begin to improve, that would be a sign that financing is getting easier to come by, and also that consumers are feeling confident enough to go out and purchase such a big-ticket item.
The kind of confidence that will kickstart spending requires a turnaround in the job market. The good news here, it's the high-paying jobs that will come back first.
They tend to be managerial. They tend to be administrative jobs. Those are the jobs that signal that more jobs will follow.
More jobs, fewer defaults, and fewer for sale signs like these, leading us right back to housing where it all started. Steve Leisman, CNBC, Leonia, New Jersey.
And a few quick items here this Friday night. We told you last night about the death of the great Denver paper, the Rocky Mountain News. Well, this morning's front page, the final edition, carried the paper's own obituary modeled after its very first front page 150 years ago. Big change in New Orleans, where uniformed troops on Humvees with blue flashing lights have patrolled those streets since Katrina back in '05. The National Guard is now pulling out of the city for the first time since the storm's aftermath. And the White House has released the official photo of the First Lady. It was quickly noted she's the first to appear sleeveless. She's shown wearing a black dress and pearls in the photo taken in the Blue Room of the White House. There is much more when we continue here on a Friday night. What if an idea resulted in better students and better teachers? It would be an example of what works. And later, giving new meaning to the phrase, do unto others, our Friday night Making a Difference report.
I never thought it could happen to me. Heart attack at 53. I had felt fine. But turns out my cholesterol and other risk factors increased my chance of a heart attack. I should have done something. Now I trust my heart to Lipitor.
When diet and exercise are not enough, adding Lipitor may help. Unlike some other cholesterol-lowering medications, Lipitor is FDA approved to reduce the risk of heart attack, stroke, and certain kinds of heart surgeries in patients with several common risk factors or heart disease. Lipitor has been extensively studied with over 16 years of research. Lipitor is not for everyone, including people with liver problems and women who are nursing, pregnant, or may become pregnant. You need simple blood tests to check for liver problems. Tell your doctor if you are taking other medications or if you have any muscle pain or weakness. This may be a sign of a rare but serious side effect.
I was caught off guard, but maybe you could learn from my story.
Have a heart-to-heart with your doctor about your risk and about Lipitor.
I don't always let my bladder problems or the worry my pipes might leak compromise what I like to do, like hunting for bargains, not always bathrooms. I take care with Vesicare.
Once daily Vesicare can help control your bladder muscle and is proven to reduce frequent sudden urges and leaks day and night. If you have certain stomach or glaucoma problems or trouble emptying your bladder, do not take Vesicare. Tell your doctor right away if you have a serious allergic reaction, severe abdominal pain, or become constipated for 3 or more days. Vesicare may cause blurred vision, so take care while driving or doing unsafe tasks. Common side effects are dry mouth, constipation, and indigestion.
You deserve better than to always be compromised by urges and leaks. Ask your doctor today about taking care with Vesicare.
Her father's murder went unsolved. Now, over 30 years later, would her mother reveal a deadly secret? A new Dateline, tonight, 10/9 Central on NBC.
What works? Brought to you by Lipitor.
They say that our economic survival in this competitive world starts with a good education. But what about the fact that American students are lagging behind Asia's students in key skills like math and science? Tonight, one way to close that gap, NBC's Rahema Ellis reports tonight on what works.
In Fall River, Massachusetts, an old mill town south of Boston, life can be hard, even for students. Challenged just getting to the town's only public high school that has no school buses. Described as an underachieving school, The principal says good teachers could make a difference, but attracting the best is difficult.
Congruent.
Especially in math and science.
We're competing against many schools that offer higher salaries, better proximity to Boston and Providence.
It's a critical problem nationwide. Educators predict in the next decade a shortage of at least 200,000 math and science teachers, mostly in urban schools. Now, a University of Massachusetts at Dartmouth program called Teach South Coast is trying to address that. Kristen Cody, a former lab technician, and Erin O'Connell, who worked with troubled teens, are just 2 of 36 new teachers who'll be certified in math and science in just 3 years. Why make the career change?
I still like research. I still love science, and I try to bring that passion for science into the classroom. And I knew that I could take my love for math and continue to make a difference and help these students.
And they get help, including federal funding for an intensive year of training to get their licenses, free college classes, a full-time job. In addition, teachers get up to 3 years of guaranteed mentoring. After a full day in the classroom, the tables are turned and the teachers become the students, learning methods and strategies to make them better instructors.
Going back and forth to see who was saying what.
In exchange, they make a 3-year commitment to work in high-need districts.
So these teachers are learning to teach in their context, which is extremely important and very rare.
Training new recruits. One solution, experts say, to a crucial math and science problem facing America's schools. Rahima Ellis, NBC News, Fall River, Massachusetts.
See you tomorrow.
And here's an item for all the people who have pads of paper with drawings of circles and squares and sailboats in the margin. Turns out you're doing the right thing. A study of volunteers at the University of Plymouth in the UK has found people who doodle remember more of what they hear. While doodling is sometimes mistaken for boredom or a short attention span, they found that doodlers remembered more names, people, and places than non-doodlers, and much more than daydreamers. When the Friday edition of our broadcast continues in a moment, yet another reason to love dogs.
Kashi's putting real natural ingredients where you'd least expect them. In frozen food. Our entrees are totally natural, with real nutrition from ingredients like fire-roasted veggies, whole grains, and grilled chicken. Let us surprise you, too, with a free frozen entree at Kashi.com. Get your surprisingly natural frozen entree free at Kashi.com.
Kashi, 7 whole grains on a mission.
Taking care of our kids, working hard, making time for friends. A hectic life can make you feel run down and may weaken your natural defenses. Drink Dan Active with LKCI Immunitas. It's clinically proven to help strengthen your body's defenses.
It's Lobster Fest. And this year, we've created more irresistible ways to love lobster than ever. With decadent entrees like our Lobster Lover's Dream with tender Maine and rock lobster tails. Or succulent wood-grilled lobster and shrimp, flame-seared to seal in the juices. And 11 other irresistible lobster creations, each served with a fresh salad and warm Cheddar Bay biscuits. It's Lobster Fest, right now at Red Lobster.
I, Sam Bailey.
Clara.
Dennis, do hereby pledge to chase the wind, whichever way it blows.
And forgive pollen when it gets carried away. I promise to grant dust a reprieve.
And I will find the strength in Zyrtec to relieve my worst allergy symptoms, indoors and outdoors. I solemnly swear to catch the breeze, no matter which trees are blooming, because with Zyrtec,
I can love the air.
try Zyrtec 5 or 14 count. If you don't love it, we'll refund your money.
Prescription drug prices. Everyone's talking about them. But now we can actually do something about them.
At Walmart, their prices are unbeatable.
Over 300 prescriptions are just $4.
$4. Imagine that.
Save money. Live better. Walmart.
Pepto-Bismol, nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, diarrhea.
Yes, I want to know if we're covered. My friend is having a cherry overload.
Okay, what's he ingested?
Cherry pie, cherry dogs, chicken, teriyaki, and...
Well, our solution for too much cherry is more cherry.
What?
Cherry Pepto, it's our fantastic tasting coverage.
You're covered.
You're welcome anytime.
Whatever your stomach problem, Cherry Pepto-Bismol covers your taste for adventure. Yep, you're covered.
Sunday, exclusive. Robert Gates, his first interview as Obama's defense secretary on the Iraq pullout and the Afghanistan buildup. Only on Meet the Press.
If you have kids or grandkids, then you know that peanut allergies, often severe, have changed life in our schools these days. They can, of course, make life miserable for the kids who are allergic. But one family has found a new solution. Their story from our chief science correspondent, Robert Bazell.
Inhalo, Benadryl, and we're done.
8-year-old Riley Mears has severe peanut allergy. Yeah. Her mom, Sherry, recalls a trip to the supermarket when the child was accidentally exposed to some peanut residue.
Within 6 minutes, she couldn't breathe. She was minutes away from dying.
Now remember, you can kind of do a comparison.
Because of the danger, Riley is homeschooled with a friend and kept from going most places.
13. Yep.
But Riley's life is about to open up because of her new pet dog, Rocco.
Helping me be able to go places and not worry about my allergies. To actually be a kid. Here you go, Mom.
Sherry Mears saw a TV program about how dogs could be trained to find illegal fruits and vegetables in customs inspections.
Good boy.
Just as they search for drugs or explosives.
I thought, if a dog can do that, why can't a dog find what my daughter's allergic to and keep her away from it?
Ready to go to work? She located Bill Whitstein, who trains dogs for explosives detection at the Florida Canine Academy.
Rocco, show me. Good boy.
He donated his time teaching the dog peanut detection.
We found the dogs pick it up pretty easy.
Sherry Mears has set up a foundation to provide dogs for other allergic children.
Portuguese water dogs are used for the project because, like many breeds, they have an extraordinary sense of smell, but they also make wonderful companions for children.
Roll over. Yay!
Warren Camerini trains those and other breeds at Biscuits and Bath in New York.
They're very loyal. They're, in general, very friendly. Their temperament is very even.
He will sit and point with his nose where they're at.
Whitstein is now working with Riley and her mom, showing how to get Rocco to check out a room thoroughly for any trace of peanuts.
See? Good boy.
That will allow Riley to go wherever she wants.
He's the bestest friend anyone could ever wish for.
Robert Bazell, NBC News, New York.
Just when you think the airlines have found a way to charge for everything that used to be free, they've come up with another possibility. The CEO of the ultra no-frills Irish airline Ryanair suggested this week that passengers pay a fee to use the onboard restroom. As he put it, spend a pound to save a penny in the future. The idea of a coin slot on the bathroom door did not go over well, as you might imagine. There are even questions about whether such a thing would break the law by denying passengers airborne access to the loo. We'll take a break. When we come back, Making a Difference, a place that gives as good as it gets.
I thought I knew all about my high cholesterol.
But then my doctor told me something I didn't know.
While I was building my life, plaque was building in my arteries. It had been building up most of my life.
That's why my doctor prescribed Crestor, to help slow the buildup of plaque.
People like you are learning that plaque can build up in arteries over time, and that along with diet, Crestor lowers bad cholesterol, raises good, and is approved to slow the buildup of plaque in arteries. Is Crestor right for you? Crestor isn't for everyone, like people with liver disease or women who are nursing, pregnant, or may become pregnant. Simple blood tests will check for liver problems. You should tell your doctor about other medicines you're taking, or if you have muscle pain or weakness, that could be a sign of serious side effects. Like others, while you've been building your life, plaque may have been building in your arteries. Find out more at Crestor.com. Then ask your doctor if it's time for Crestor.
If you can't afford your medication, AstraZeneca may be able to help.
If you think all batteries are the same, consider this. A lost child, a Brickhouse child locator. And the only battery Brickhouse trusts is Duracell. Trusted everywhere.
If you have a history of smoking and breathing problems, it could be COPD, which includes chronic bronchitis, emphysema, or both. Discover Spiriva, the only once-daily inhaled maintenance prescription that treats both forms of COPD. Spiriva significantly improves lung function to help you breathe better for a full 24 hours. And it's not a steroid. Spiriva is not a rescue inhaler. Tell your doctor about your medicines, even eye drops, and illnesses like glaucoma and urinary or prostate problems. These may worsen with Spiriva. The most common side effect is dry mouth. Others include constipation and problems passing urine. In the event your breathing suddenly worsens, your throat or tongue swells, you get hives, vision changes, or eye pain, stop taking Spiriva and call your doctor. Spiriva is one of many treatment options to consider with your doctor.
Make a habit of breathing better with Spiriva. Anxious about quitting cold turkey? Make that first step easier with the Nicoderm CQ patch. Nicoderm steps you down from nicotine gradually, doubling your chance for success. Nicoderm CQ, 3 steps, 10 weeks, and you're free.
This is a KGW News Channel 8 update.
Next, killing sea lions at Bonneville Dam, how soon it could begin. Plus, why the interest rate on your credit cards may be going way up.
With cloudy skies, February ends dry, but will March come in like a lion or a lamb? That forecast is after the nightly news.
Making a difference. Brought to you by Nicoderm CQ.
In our Making a Difference segment this Friday night, what may be the very essence of a local community church. All congregations are only as good as their collective members, after all. It's just that this one gives its members everything it's got. The story from suburban Chicago and NBC's Jeff Ross.
On a frigid Sunday morning in Schaumburg, Illinois, the local high school is rocking its auditorium transformed into a church.
God in heaven.
And the pastor, Jim Samratic, is transforming lives with an out-of-the-box idea.
What time is it?
You're giving away 100% of your donations, free money, to people who need it.
Absolutely,
Called out. Chanel is a single working mother. Her 10-year-old daughter, Cherise, has cerebral palsy. They could barely pay the bills. And then a godsend. Waterfront Community Church just gave this family more than $11,000.
Just like, are they serious? Is it a joke? What do I have to do? But I have to do nothing. Cherise, I want you to meet somebody. He's the one that's helping us so much.
Helping in a way most churches don't. When you donate money, most, if not all of it, can go toward church maintenance, staff salaries, electricity, and heat. But not here. Every dollar donated to Waterfront goes toward people in need. How do they do it? They sacrifice. No big, beautiful chapel. Instead, they rent the high school for service each week. The Christian rock band practices for free at a neighbor's house. Oh, and the pastor, Jim, doesn't have a fancy office. He works off his laptop here at a coffee shop.
There's a bunch of churches I've talked to already that are interested in something like this, and I say great.
Just 4 months in, they've paid for everything from car repairs to a neighbor's brain surgery.
If you see the eyes of the person on the other side and the tear in their eyes, it's awesome. It's awesome. It's what living's all about.
A small church changing the rules and getting back to basics. Jeff Rawson, NBC News, Schaumburg, Illinois.
And that is our broadcast for this Friday night and for this week. Thank you for being with us. A reminder, next week, a new series of...
And hysterical mishaps.
Hey, look, somebody threw a rock through the window.
From one of America's best-loved comedians. It's the best of Red Skelton.
Join us tonight at 8:30 here on OPB.
The deadline for full-power TV stations to switch to digital-only broadcasting has been moved to June 12th. This will give many people in our country who are not yet ready a second chance. Let's make sure everyone in our community is prepared. The steps are simple, and we're here to help. Call us today at 1-800-241-8123 or visit our DTV information page online at opb.org/digital. Now is the time to act. Go digital today.
The Police rock great performances. That's right. Sting, Andy Summers, Stuart Copeland. The Police, together again after 23 years in the reunion tour that wowed the world. Fresh, exciting, certifiably great. great performances. The Police.
Saturday night at 10, here on OPB.
I support OPB at the cornerstone level. There isn't anything really more important to me than knowledge. I virtually live and breathe OPB.
It keeps me tuned in to what's going on in the world.
My morning starts with it, my night ends with it. OPB is my lifeline to the state, to the arts, to politics, to what's happening internationally. I love the Oregon Public Broadcasting Cornerstone Society. It is a very meaningful place to share my enthusiasm and my passion for OPB.
To find out more about the OPB Cornerstone Society, please visit opb.org/cornerstone or call Julie Arnzen at 503-977-7765.
Stein Oil Company, fueling for businesses in Clackamas, Oregon City, Milwaukee, and Tualatin.
By the law firm of Landy, Bennett, Blumstein, providing legal solutions for business, real estate, and litigation clients throughout the Pacific Northwest and Alaska.